What is going on, Clippers fans? Welcome to yet another off-season happy hour clips and dip. I guess we can call them preseason now because the preseason is officially started. I am Chuck Mockler, joined by Adam Osland and William Updike. Will is working on a new mic setup. There we go.
How's that?
Oh, the mic set's a little hot. Adam.
I might go with that initial setup there, Will.
Yeah, I think I'd go with setup one.
How's this?
Setup one.
How's this?
That's good. Setup
How's
one
this?
was still good.
Is it getting worse?
Something.
I think it's getting worse.
All right.
Would be my setup one was good.
Sometimes you try to make it better, and it only gets worse.
And it only gets worse.
LA Clippers 25-26.
Yeah. The Clippers 1-0 in preseason, the second to last team to get a preseason game in, which I don't know if that matters. It's just a fun fact that Law Murray's been talking about. Adam, you were there. How was the vibe? We'll talk about the play. How was the vibe in San Diego at Front Wave Arena?
That place was lit. It was beautiful. I went there last year. We didn't even do a radio broadcast last night, but I still wanted to go down there, just be there for the game. Front Wave Arena is really cool. Everything's very intimate. You can reach out and touch the players. They're walking through the tunnel and stuff. Lawrence Frank came up, gave me Lawrence Frank gave me a nice fist bump.
Hey, there you go.
It's Steve
Big
Ballmer
week.
there. All the luminaries. It was a great showing, and hospitality was off the charts. It was awesome being there.
John Collins sat with the fans, which was a funny bit.
Did he? I missed that.
Yeah, he got subbed out, and then there's a photo of him just sitting in the stands.
No hot dog though.
No hot dog. Yeah, did you get any food at the Front Wave Arena?
Yeah, they had some catering there for media and stuff, and it was good.
Of course. Okay. I thought you maybe got some stadium food.
Well, Carlo, sitting to my right, went and got what is referred to as a glizzy by people of his age. And I have no idea why they'd call a hot dog that. He also put nothing on it. Just ate it like
just
serial killer behavior.
That's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah. Sorry, Carlo. I had to ask
sorry,
you.
Carlo. Yeah, no, that's outworthy. That's insane. All right, let's talk. Will, what? I don't know how to put this because the Clippers, obviously, they won. They had an incredible third quarter. How much stock do we put into this game? This is kind of what I expected, which I guess is a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're just looking for reps. And I mean, I feel like we talk about this almost every season, but I think just the nature of having most of your starting lineup, obviously still working on Beal, available through training camp. And the preseason is the biggest thing. Justin over at Twitter Film Room was breaking down some stuff, and he aptly pointed out, you do have to consider the competition, obviously, that you're playing, but there are some things to look at to be excited about. We saw CP3 getting aggressive. We saw some interesting looks from the second unit. And it kind of just goes back to, what I've been talking about. I think this version of the Clippers depth is still the most exciting to me because it makes the most sense from an actual positionality standpoint. At the time, the Wingstop era, I was really high on having a lot of these utility guys, but there is something to be said about having guys that are, sort of the archetypical sort of characters at their position and having a few of them that you can trust. Maybe they won't all be getting clutch minutes. Obviously they can't all be starters, but there's something about that that's exciting. So it's good to see that coalescing out the floor at any level of competitive basketball. Again, even if this was against a divisional rival in the preseason, it's still preseason. So there's only so much stock you can take, but I thought from what we saw, good.
I'm excited to see Zoo on Sunday play against an actual center because Adam, how funny was it in person watching Zoo get those paint touches last night? Because they were just bouncing off of him.
It was kind of the same thing as last year against Brooklyn and San Diego, where it looked like Zoo could have gone for 50 if they wanted to just spam that over and over again. But Coach Lou said post game, we still actually want to work on things. It was too easy, light work for Visa Zubats. But what I look for in the preseason, especially in a matchup like last night's, is just how guys are moving, because that kind of transcends the competition that's independent of that. Kawhi looked like he was moving really well. His legs seemed to be underneath him, knocking down 5 3-pointers. He had a step back kind of fadeaway three. He and Victor Oladipo went back and forth on a possession, which was fun to watch.
Looking
And they were
sturdy as a
smiling at
planet
each other.
tree out there.
It was good to see Kawhi with that much pep at his step. And I asked Coach Lou pregame if he looks the way he did in training camp of 2023. And he said yes. So Kawhi's ready to go. Like, he looks mid-season form.
Yeah, I like what you said about the movement, where it's like this is the perfect game to see if guys are moving well. It's against a way lesser opponent, except for Victor Oladipo, who just like the first half of this game was very funny. Ty Lue kind of talked about he was disappointed in the Clippers, how they kind of went through the motions in the first half. But I also I can't blame them a little bit. It's their first game back. They're old, right, Will? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's totally to be expected. And you're still shaking off the rust and stuff. You would expect guys to be kind of going through the motions a little bit, like the first couple of quarters of a preseason game against a non-NBA opponent. This is one of those games where the only way that there's a lot to take away from it is if they somehow lose in an embarrassing fashion.
30.
Then there's a lot more to talk about. I feel like in terms of actual real takeaways. You know what I mean? The inverse of cruising to a victory is sort of expected. But yeah.
What do we take? Because I was also Beal didn't play. So is there nothing really to look into with the starters, Adam, when it comes to, since Beal's not healthy, it's what can we take away starter-wise from preseason?
No, I think there's a lot you can take away from it. I said last week when Kawhi came out and he was asked at Intuit Dome during training camp, Law Murray was talking specifically about John Collins and having that guy that you've kind of been asking for a while and what that's going to be like. And Kawhi says something to the effect of, I think it's going to be pretty much the same when the season starts. And the way I interpreted that was John Collins is not going to be starting at the 4. That's how I read into that answer from Kawhi. And then DJ starts game 1 of the preseason when it could have been Collins, and Collins is going to start on Sunday. But to me, it says DJ is in the lead for being that 5th starter.
Yeah, because we were kind of talking earlier. It was it seems like it's maybe John Collins is to lose. And now DJ, it's maybe it never changed from being DJ's to lose.
They value the point of attack too much, that defense there. That they don't want to lose that identity. I think that's probably what it's going to come down to. And then I think DJ obviously at the edge.
Will, you were going to say something.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that it makes sense. I don't know. I would say that like we talked about, there's not a whole lot of wiggle room in the starting 5, and that is the sole question mark, really, is assuming health, obviously. So I think that it can change, and DJ didn't even keep that spot during the regular season previously, so it's
very good call.
I think that it could still be up in the air, but I don't think there's anything wrong in reading into the idea that maybe among the coaching staff, DJ currently has the edge. And I think with so many additions, I mean, you do have to make a hard line choice. How much are you going to be able to revive this identity from last year that got you to 50 wins, was very successful for you? And then, adding in potentially two completely brand new starters, how much are you willing to give up? So I think that is going to be sort of a balancing act for what they're going to do, because, we talked about that was one of their greatest strengths last year is they actually had a roadmap. They actually had an identity. We knew how they were going to perform night in and night out. And I think all of that speaks in favor, honestly, of starting DJ, because he has been there longer. So I don't know.
It's another, it's we talked about, I've been talking about too, the thing of it's great the team's in another year of Van Gundy's defense. Keep the guy who's already had that year under his belt in Van Gundy's defense. And wasn't he still, I'll look it up, but I'm pretty sure he was still top 5 in that, possessions guarding the leading scorer of the other team or something like that. Remember the stat that we talked about when he came over?
Van Gundy was?
Yeah, it was Van Gundy. He was out there.
He's hiking those shorts up. He's getting low.
But DJ was out there doing, and he was still doing that for the Clippers. So, yeah, I think, Adam, I like.
Remember, they started him. They started him in Game 6 last year. No, excuse me, Game 7 in Denver. That was the move he made to start DJ finally, because all the numbers said that DJ with the starting unit net rating wise was a little bit better than Dunn. And we were wondering why they kept up with Dunn. And then finally they switched it to DJ.
It went so well.
I mean, did they win the first quarter by 5 or something? It did kind of get him off to a good start.
For 12 minutes, it was great.
But I think this isn't about the experience or him being there longer than John Collins. It's ability.
It helps, though. You know what I mean? That continuity for a team that we've talked about wanting continuity.
I didn't even mean him in terms of veteran status. I just mean if you're talking about an identity, he was part of that previous identity. So it does make sense to obviously performance based, reinsert him into that starting lineup.
And the bench is good. Collins on that bench.
He was active. He was showing a lot of energy out there. Reminded me a little bit. I used to say this about Montrezl Harrell. I used to call him the Dennis Rodman of offense because he just has a motor that never would stop on the offensive end. John Collins had a little bit of that too. With the way he attacks, goes after offensive rebounds, putbacks, dirty work type stuff.
He got that board off the Lopez missed free throw, and I was like, I can't remember the last time I've seen a Clipper go after an offensive. I know it's preseason and the competition was the competition, but like you said, on that second unit, especially if you look at the 1 and the 5 position in terms of age, Collins being able to bring some athleticism and be that runner for them is going to be great. Chris Paul finding Collins on outlet passes when they're both out there is going to be really fun this year, I think.
Yeah, I can't stress enough how people forget that James Harden was guarding Aaron Gordon a lot of that series. It wasn't Kawhi starting on him. And this idea that Aaron Gordon just picked on Kawhi the entire series and was averaging 25 against him or something like that is not the case, because it's confirmation bias for people who thought, well, Kawhi should never be playing the 4 again. There's one Aaron Gordon in the league. They happen to run into him in a playoff series. I don't think you should change how you play and who you play against every team throughout a long regular season because of one guy that you may or may not see. And hey, if it's matchup dependent during the regular season, like we thought it was going to be with DJ and Chris Dunn when he talked about that last season, Coach Lou, he said, depending on the matchup, I'll play one or the other. And then it was kind of just a bunch of Chris Dunn. Maybe he'll switch off DJ some nights, Collins other nights. But I see the vision if this is the direction they're going with it. I don't think that'd be a bad move.
And again, I mean, the optionality, the starting lineup, whether it's a fluid moment or not, you have so many sub options for how you want to target matchups, where the particular areas of weakness are on any given night. So it's interesting. I do love talking about it, but it doesn't super matter who the actual starting 5 are.
I think kind of to that point, Law Murray he had a question to Ty Lue, and he said that Ty Lue made it a point to say that James Harden and Kawhi Leonard are going to get minutes with the second unit, which would decrease all bench lineups in 10-man rotations. So that interchangeability, we're going to see some 10-game sample sizes for sure. But it's nice that we have the depth to be able to where it's okay, yeah, Kawhi and James can be out there. And it's we're actually that with this version of the depth is really going to be fun, because we saw Chris Paul last night. What he can do in the pick and roll as the backup point guard, what's the last backup point the Clippers had who could come even close to being effective at running the pick and roll like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Milosh? No.
Rondo played some backup, maybe. I don't know. I think that also spoke to people talking about first and second units like there's hockey line changes. They
Yeah,
did one
right.
last night. It's preseason just to
Right.
get a bunch of young guys in all of a sudden. That's not how things work typically. So, you expect Kawhi or James Harden to be out there most of the time with second units.
He gave Justin Russo a shout out. He said, so Justin can stop asking me about it, which was a great little nugget, too.
Justin was hanging on to every word Coach Lou said and was gonna hold him to it.
Oh, yeah. He's going to ask him about them playing with the bench lineups. How'd we feel about Lopez?
Looked good, man. He was moving well.
Right?
He and CP3 both were moving well out there. Like, I know it's the beginning of the year, and that stuff could tail off with older players as the year goes on. But if you stagger guys, lineups, minutes, if you take care of them, if they can look like that for the most part, they don't look like 37 and 40-year-olds.
No, and I mean, I don't want to get too hyperbolic, but I do feel like Lopez is like one of the most under the radar additions that makes this lineup so much more solid. Like he's a guy like I've had my eye on for the Clippers to go after for a long time, like since his Lakers tenure. And so to get him is great. You hope for health, especially at his age, but just a solid dude.
And he's been shouted out. Like a lot of the guys when they've been asked, well, who's been, a leader, who's been the best?
Oh, yeah.
Been Lopez. North Hollywood legend.
Apparently he picked things up really quickly defensively, and he's being a vocal leader there as your backline defender. I think if they finish top 5 in defense again, he's going to be a huge reason why. Yeah. That's going to be the biggest reason why. Because without Zoo, the defensive numbers fall off a cliff. Just having Lopez coming in for him.
The D rating with Zoo off last year, I'm sure, was just like a nightmare.
I mean, like, for what the Clippers are going for, like, and considering the identity of last year, which we expect them to retain at least a portion of, could there have been a better possible backup center to Zoo? Like, I can't think of one that's realistic. You know what I mean?
Not for what the team wants to do, which is clearly play. They don't want to play small ball. Like, a lot of people wanted that for a while, and it's like they clearly wanted, even when we had horrific bigs or backup fives, they were still bigger. You know what I mean? Like,
there was still a way to get minutes. Yeah,
except for
on this team.
Where it was like,
but yeah, like I think for like realistic options, I can't think of a better guy that you could have backing up Ivica Zubac than Brook Lopez.
And teaching Yannick.
He's not a true backup center. I mean, he's never played backup center. He's a couple years removed from being in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. He was playing over 30 minutes per game last year for the Milwaukee Bucks. Like, the Lakers would have started him if he had gone there. That would have been their starting center.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, Will. Like, that's the underrated pickup that I don't think people are talking about enough, that can just have this under the radar giant impact on the team.
Did we see there weren't any Zoo Lopez minutes last night?
No.
There have been in practice, but there hasn't been there wasn't. Okay. Thank you, Ray, for reminding us about the Mo Bamba era. There was some crazy take. I do love that, like, anytime
I wanted
there
Mo
was
to be
a terrible
good. Okay?
backup five. No, I know
you would.
I wanted him to be good too.
That first stint, he looked pretty good.
Yeah, I was like, maybe he figured it out. I just loved there was a period where anytime there was a backup five, it was like, maybe he should start over Zoo. That was.
Oh, we're going to have those conversations this year.
At least it's with Brook Lopez and not with Mo Bamba.
Collectively, but those conversations will happen.
Here's a good question from that Mexican Nara. If JC, John Collins, not the big JC, comes off the bench, does this mean that Batum is out of the rotation?
No. Next question.
It depends what you mean on out of the rotation. Like, you think the rotation is going to be 11 men? 11 men? No. Yeah. But how often are they going to be fully healthy? They're probably going to cycle him in, if they are fully healthy, to at least have him playing a couple times a week just to stay fresh. Like, they're going to be choosy with when to use Batum when they're healthy.
Yeah, and like you said, they'll have to kind of stagger this for a guy. Like, we have an older team. Like,
Bogey got hurt.
Right.
lower back issue, lower back connected to the hamstring. I don't know. I first time out, I watched him walk right by into the tunnel holding his lower back. I was like, oh man, that's brutal. But the truth is, he'd likely be out of the rotation too if they're fully healthy.
Yeah. I
think that
I don't think they're going to run a 10-man during the regular season. Like
Tyler mentioned that in that last quote from Law. He was like, "We're not." He doesn't seem like we're going to see a lot of 10-man. Yeah, you're right.
If they're blowing people out, then yeah,
sure, meaningful.
That's how you get everybody minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. How about this? Ideally, those guys are still getting minutes because the majority of the games with the Clippers just destroyed.
Golden State tried that last year, and for a hot minute, everybody thought, "Wow, this is going to be revolutionary. This is the next Steph Curry making threes type of moves." Yeah, they're 12 men deep, and guess what happened? Guys weren't happy. They weren't staying in rhythm because they weren't playing enough, and it quickly went by the wayside. I don't think it's reasonable.
Yeah, your 10th, 11th, and 12th guys can't play that much and be consistently good. That's why they're 10th, 11th, 12th guys. No knock on like the talent level of those guys, but what makes you really good in the NBA is being really good for more than 4 minutes or something like that.
Batum's already shown the consistency that he's not a guy that you would worry about having to come in even in big moments during the regular season, quote unquote, out of rhythm. And no, I don't think he's going to be completely out of the rotation. He was the glue that held too many lineups together and has been throughout his entire Clippers tenure. I don't see that happening. I think what is going to happen in a positive way is his role is going to be diminished to the point that it should be for a player of his age and mileage. I think it's an ideal situation for Batum. And I think if you're part of the battalion, you don't got to worry about the commander going AWOL or anything.
Everyone's part of the battalion, right? There can't be a single Clippers fan who's not.
I know there's somebody out there.
Some freak. I like this question from Alex. Do they have a glaring weakness? How are teams going to play the Clippers?
They're old and injury prone.
I was just going to say they're going to play them fast. Foot speed is maybe the biggest weakness. This is a great question also. Thank you, Alex.
We don't have any concrete evidence that the transition defense has actually improved. We know that they're thinking about it. They've added some pickups that could theoretically help.
They had a shirt with FU, yeah.
They've gotten a little bit worse in some defensive areas. But I mean, that's still going to be one of those things. It's still going to be one of those things to monitor.
Well,
go ahead.
It's also something where they're going to have to prove that in the playoffs, because I think they were pretty decent throughout the regular season. It was the playoff series, if you look at the shirts, against the Denver Nuggets, where it fell by the wayside, and really the last 4 games of the series.
Can we also, the sequel to the F-word shirt, heck, not that good.
Too much text.
Yeah, the heck one.
Can you pull it up?
Yeah, I'm going to pull it up.
It's too much text.
It's kind of a lot.
I love the vibe. I love the idea. They need to consult with a graphic designer on those a little bit to really tighten them up.
I think they just should have
sell those babies in the fan store.
They should have led with heck.
Yeah.
There we go.
Can you zoom in on that?
This is hilarious. You're getting Mike Wazowski right now on the stream. All right, yeah. Yeah, they should have led with this. And then
I don't think they were going to premiere the F-bombs in San Diego in front of the kids.
Why not? San Diego, they're chill. They love that kind of stuff. Kawhi said it himself. All right, we'll get back to actual basketball talk. I don't know. The rotation, I like what you said about Batum coming in for clutch moments, where it's like, yeah, great. We have him to fall back on. He shouldn't be playing that much.
He's the last guy you worry about that, he's going to be cold. It's like, come on, it's Nico.
Timothy says.
And if that's your 11th or 12th guy, do you know how, that's a fucking sound lineup, dude. If Nico is my 12th guy on a lineup, I'm feeling pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's funny too, because we talked about how he was such a he's kind of got to keep the kids in line when he's out there with this certain lineup. There's no kids to keep in line with the guys he's going to be playing with. You know what I mean?
The Clippers are running a retirement home.
He doesn't need to be out there to really make up as much for people's inexperience, which was kind of a lot of what he had to do sometimes with some of the bench lineups.
He also moved well last night, made some savvy defensive plays as always.
How many minutes? Yeah, 11 minutes. Stuffed the stat sheet too. A couple of boards.
He was moving, man.
Is
I
think something Bradley Beal brought up this past week, how they have so many vets and even the new guys on the team are picking things up so quickly. Not just Lopez, but I think it's led them to do less drills and just scrimmage and just play. And I think I should have asked Coach Lou this on Sunday, but I wonder if they've scrimmaged more than they ever have in the past in a training camp, because you have continuity year to year with coaches, defensive scheme, philosophies. They're not changing a lot. There's some new guys, but they're older. They can pick things up faster. I think that could help them get off to a quick start.
I do feel like, and again, maybe it's just because this offseason has been the longest offseason of what feels like our lives for various reasons with the Clippers, that they started scrimmage. Like, it was only like practice 2 or something where we saw Beal didn't scrimmage today. I was like, hell yeah, like they're scrimmaging and okay. Maybe that's what they usually do, but it felt a little early.
You should be scrimmaging day 1. What else are you doing?
Nah, they're old. I got to stretch. I assume day 1 is a stretch day. Day 2 is a soup day. Day 3 is puzzles.
Every day is a soup day on this team, baby.
I remember maybe it was last year, the year before, one of those years in Hawaii, they had some drill where they were fighting through screens on the perimeter that they showed, and the coaches had like some padding, like they were going to, train a UFC fighter, and they're pushing back and guys are fighting through screens, and they showed that off. I didn't see anything like that. So I'm interested to know, are they just scrimmaging a lot more now?
Yeah, because
there's no cameras allowed, but they're doing Oklahoma drills.
Yeah, Lopez and Zoo.
No pads.
Yeah, there's one guy, they stand at each foul line and they meet at half court. I used to have to do a terrifying drill in hockey that I think is probably illegal now, where one person would be behind each net, and then you would meet halfway. Or you would be behind you would be behind the net, and you would meet behind the other net.
For what purpose?
Getting used to getting hit.
That's nuts.
It was terrible. What do we think we're doing with the 15th roster spot? Mo Bamba.
I don't think they're the only team.
Bucks.
Don't a few teams have an open roster spot? And maybe this is some new trend going on
because of the apron
flexibility.
Stuff? Yeah.
Giannis.
Everybody's only going to carry 14 guys till after the trade deadline or something. I don't know.
Maybe because the cap does make stuff weird. Now that we've gotten the borderline practice game out of the way and they play the Nuggets on Sunday, what are we looking for in game 2? I like what you said, Adam, about guys moving well. We hope that continues, because we did see them moving well for their first game action in quite a bit against a lesser opponent. So I think that might be number 1 on my list. But what are you looking for?
I mean, looking for FUCK. They're taking on the Denver Nuggets. No, we lost to Denver because of transition. They got to get back. That's what I want to see on Sunday.
Transition.
Then they were 13th in 15 points given up per game in transition last year. That was 13th in the league.
Yeah, is that
some
regular?
Of that.
Yeah,
middling. That's regular season. So
not championship pedigree.
OKC was number 1, so
Indiana
was number 2, so
something to it. Yeah, and I like, and I want to from the start, right? Because obviously, knock the rust off in the first game against the Luong Lions. Great. It is preseason, but I'm assuming guys are maybe still feeling some type of way about how the season ended. So I'm looking for them to be at 10 intensity-wise, defensively. From the start.
A preseason 10.
A preseason 10. Yeah, let's not get insane here. But yeah.
I can confirm there were people not happy with the Clippers in the first half.
I'm sure.
That defense.
It was that. I mean, that run in the third was so funny. I was like, yeah, this is what this should be like.
What was it, 29-0? They didn't have a field goal the first 10 minutes of the third quarter. Lions
was like one of the other ones I saw. I'm excited to see CP3 and Lopez against harder competition.
Yeah, second unit.
Yeah.
A little bit more run there. Dunn was really good. I think he helped turn the defense. Coach Lou talked about that post game in that third quarter when he came in. But yeah, that group with CP3, Dunn, John Collins, Brook Lopez. We'll see who else gets reps because Jordan Miller came in as soon as Bogey was out. He was the first guy off the bench. Yeah. And then Trenton Flowers actually got some run with the starters too.
Showed off the hops. Love to see that from Trenton.
Yeah. Serious. He had the big dunk at the end of the game.
Yeah.
A lot of dunks in that game. Zoo, big putback. Victor Oladipo, huge dunk. That was cool to see, actually. I'm a big Oladipo fan, so I'm rooting for him to get back in the league. It was awesome that Kawhi talked about him post-game. I think Tomer might have asked him about it.
Yeah, that is dope. This is funny because this will be the Nuggets' third preseason game. It's the Clippers' second. Effectively, their first and a half because they play at the Long Lions. Okay, here's a good take. I wish CP was our starting point guard. For their taste, he fits better with Kawhi than Harden. I don't know about that.
It starts. Here we go.
I don't know about that one. I think Harden's a really good starting point guard.
This was one of my predictions coming into the season. The amount of people that are going to clamor for CP starting over James Harden.
You're a start CP3 guy.
Yep. That's me.
Will Beal play Sunday?
James Harden was a fucking all-star and all-NBA third-team guy last year. Just so you know, that means you're a top 15 player in the league. He was pretty good, guys.
I haven't seen anything about Beal playing Sunday.
I don't think
he scrimmaged this last week.
He did scrimmage.
At least
I don't think Coach Lou committed to that happening yet.
I'd love to see Beal. If
I'm
an option, obviously.
Yes.
That might be the best thing to look for.
Yeah, if
Beal gets out there.
Hey, what up, Fahad? CP3 looking like the old CP3. Yes, he looked awesome. It's so great to have a elite backup point guard.
15 points with ease. Man,
I love it.
They gave him a nice ovation when he first came out there for the first time since they lost to Utah in 2017 in a Clippers uniform back out on the court. I'm assuming it's going to happen again now at Intuit Dome on Sunday.
That's going to be a sweet tribute video. They'll probably save the long one for that regular season. How bad is the Bogey injury? Unclear. He said he was fine, but that's what every professional athlete says when they're hurt.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, maybe it was just, I'm coming back off hamstring. I felt a little tweak. I'm not risking anything in this game. I'm out.
Yeah. It was 2 minutes, right?
That he played?
Yeah, I think it was 2.
It was a timeout by Coach Lou early because he didn't like the way the defense was looking.
2 minutes and 10 seconds. All right. Someone had they haven't said anything about Kawhi playing. Someone was asking if we think Kawhi will play back-to-backs, and my guess is a firm no.
I mean, I said after his last injury with the swelling, like, he should never play a back-to-back again.
It would be insane. And I'm not saying this to the question because we haven't heard anything about it. Usually he's asked about it quite a bit. But, like...
Does he look leaner this year?
No. He was leaner last year. Honestly, if anything, he's put on 5 pounds. He looks strong. He looks leaner than 23, 24.
Right.
But last year when he came back, that was the thinnest I've ever seen him.
Yeah.
Since like Spurs days. This looks like he got to train. He added a slight bit of size, but it's still down from where he was 23, 24.
And he got to go do stuff this offseason. He wasn't rehabbing. He was like out at fashion show. Like he was doing stuff. He went to Rwanda, like all, you know what I mean? Like
should be lock and ended.
He should be actually doing the same stuff, recovering. He should be locking.
I don't want to see him in public unless it's with a foam roller.
Yeah, he's foam rolling at like Abbott Kinney. I want to see Derek Jones Jr. play more minutes.
Yeah, he knocked down a couple of threes early.
Yeah, he played 7 minutes, almost 8. But maybe they were like, we know what we're good here. He doesn't need as much ramp up as the other guys.
I talked about this a little bit post game, but Derek Jones Jr. in some ways is still, I know he's 28 now, but in some ways he's still a young NBA player in terms of potential because he didn't play that much his first 5 years in the league.
Yeah.
He became more of a regular over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So maybe there's more potential to tap into there because if you look at his 3-point percentage, it's steadily gone up the last 3 seasons now. 34%, a little bit above 34%. Last year was almost a 36%.
Yeah.
Can he shoot 37% this year from 3? Like, that would be big.
You think he has another gear to tap into?
I think of
It's not
most
that many
28-year-olds
more.
are closer to a finished product, but because he played so little early on in his career, maybe there's something else.
Yeah, he's only going to be taking 3 threes a game.
Also, Bradley Beal is only 32. Sorry for this aside. In my head, he was at least 35.
The way that we talk about athletes, the time scale is once you get past 31, you are referred to as if you are a fossil. And they're like, "Can you believe it? He's still out there."
I don't know. It just feels like he's been in the league forever. So, like in my head, he was at least 35.
Right.
Bradley Beal can still move. I was looking at some tape from early last season, and
tape.
I think he's going to come out playing some pretty good defense to start the season.
He's been saying the right stuff. He wants to help do the little things, which
Adam, as a firm buy-inner of guys and they're accepting their new roles as they come to the Clippers, a la perhaps a John Wall, who knows? What do you think of Bradley Beal's comments about how he feels more ready to buy in defensively than perhaps previously?
Honestly, see that almost the exact same thing going into last season with the Phoenix Suns. Literally, I just did a show on this and read the quote.
That's so.
The thing is, the Suns started as a top 3 defense their first 10 games in, and I found an article from the start of last year from somebody going into the details as a Suns fan. It was titled something like "Bradley Beal is playing the best defense of his career," and he posted all these clips. Things obviously fell off a cliff because they became a bottom 3 defense by the end of the season. But I'm not attributing all of that to him.
Yeah,
I think the point is he's capable, and maybe in a much better environment, you're going to get that version of Bradley Beal throughout the entire season instead of just, to start the year.
Yeah, I mean, think about the guys who, dude, Mason Plumlee is your starting center. You're going to be bad defensively.
Fully put together.
Do you think, though, the idea of him being on a minimum contract and obviously he's kind of playing for the next one hurts him from a defensive perspective? Because if you want a big contract, you're looking at putting up numbers. You're not the other end of the floor.
If he's efficient and he's bought in or whatever, you know what I mean? If it's maybe he could it would maybe be a trick, but he could convince someone to give him a big contract, I think. Because when Kawhi's out, Kawhi doesn't play back-to-backs. Or Beal gets some of that extra. In the games where Beal gets more touches, if he still shows, a couple times that he's that guy on offense, I think he could, again, respectfully, potentially trick a team into giving him a large contract. Or it wouldn't be a trick and he would just be really good for his age.
If he somehow dropped a couple 40 balls in games where Kawhi's out, and then
or they rest James more and we need someone to score,
if teams see it as he can scale up when he needs to still, that's how he could still be getting that big contract at some point. But he's also said how bad he wants to win a championship. He and John Collins, contract years. So 2 of their biggest pickups, those guys, they definitely are playing for a lot.
Yeah, ideally he plays so good that we can't afford him next year. Because we wouldn't want to give him a big.
Who wouldn't want to bring in NBA champion Bradley Beal to their team?
There you go. This is our year. Ronell asking, do we think Dunn makes the rotation? Yes. I think he's in that thing.
He and Brook Lopez are going to hold down the defense in that second unit.
Right. Beal with the second unit is another interesting thing, too. Because Beal becomes the featured guy on the second unit offensively, which is possibly very fun. Possibly frustrating.
It sounded like first answer about Kawhi and James Harden playing together. It sounded like Kawhi will be the first guy out in the first quarter. So he'd be back first with the second unit, which I think is how they did things last year, too.
Yeah. Harden would play the whole
when available, or maybe even the year before, the first year with James Harden. So, yeah, it could be, is Bradley Beal going to stay on the court while Kawhi goes to the bench early in the first quarter? Or is somebody else already in for Bradley Beal at that point? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's complex because they're not doing hockey shifts, so
they should.
Better this way.
They should do 5 in, 5 out. Why not? You talk about
But Kawhi and
revolutionizing.
Beal will probably be spending like the most, like, quote unquote, time with the second unit, like whatever like
that is
machination that is.
Say you got CP3, Chris Dunn, Kawhi, Collins, Lopez starting the second quarter or by the 10-minute mark of the second quarter. That's an interesting unit. That's how you're going to get, I think, if John Collins isn't the starter, that's how you get minutes where Kawhi is playing the 3 for everybody. So worried about that.
So worried about that.
It's like there's absolutely no evidence that Kawhi has gotten hurt because he's played the 4. He tore his ACL playing the 3.
Right.
He's had multiple injuries playing the 3. So there's no correlation to say this is the problem. He's playing the 4.
And according to Kawhi, he can still slide with the best of them. So I'm not worried about it.
We have 2 people named Ronell meeting in the chat, which is very funny. And they're Clippers fans. Pretty rare. Pretty cool. Yeah, I'm excited to actually be able to watch this game without having to steal someone's NBA TV login.
Will hook you up, huh?
No, I can't say who hooked me up. Anything else you want to say? Just more.
Stream hooked you up, huh?
Yeah, I used meth streams. Adam, you want to do a positive thing before we get out of here? I guess I should give a thank you to everyone who hung out in the chat and might listen. We might put this out on audio. If you want to subscribe, we would love that too. We're going to have a full episode next week talking tangible results, hopefully, from the Nuggets versus Clippers preseason game at Intuit. I will not be there. Will, I assume that you will not be there. No disrespect.
I'm going to be in London.
Going to be in London. This Sunday?
No.
Going for the NFL game. Roger Goodell wins.
Yeah.
He converted the Americans to fly.
Adam, you will be there.
I will be there. Usual pre-half and post-game show. I'm excited about it.
There we go. Can we get one positive thing for Clippers fans before we head them out on a beautiful weekend?
These old guys are moving. All right. And I'm going to ask Coach Lou if I get a chance to on Sunday. Are they scrimmaging more than ever this training camp? What's going on?
Great question.
But I like what I saw. I think there's a chance they could come into this season, especially because we talked about the first 10 games and how favorable it could be. They could start really fast.
They also need to start really fast, would be the flip side of the coin for
What's
me.
happening in March, Chuck?
A lot of games. All right. We will talk to y'all next week. We'll have the full episode.